Welcome to Monday Night Rants on the Better Sports Network. What is going on, everybody? Uh-oh, somebody has a case of the Monday. Well, that's the way the cookie crumbles. And, well, Bob's your uncle. Rants on the Street with Thomas Stevens. Shout out to my producer, Tyler Heavy T. Soto. Boom. Yes. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Monday Night Rants on the Better Sports Network at Better Network at all your favorite social media platforms. I, of course, am at Edward Rouse. And what a show we have for you tonight. Tyler Heavy T. Soto and Thomas Stevens are on. They have the night off, so I'm running solo tonight. Thomas Stevens, happy birthday, by the way. Happy birthday, Thomas Stevens. The ripe age of 22. Jose Saldana says, bang, bang, Nighter gang. Let's get it on. Let's do it. Heavy T's on the night off as well, so I will be running solo, but don't worry, my fellow ranters. I have a special guest tonight. Matthew Selz of Fantasy Alarm will be joining me a little later to talk about what transpired yesterday in the NASCAR realm of one of the greatest races I've ever seen in NASCAR history. More on that later. I do have some heartbreaking news, my fellow ranters. My neon sign that says Monday Night Rants finally took a shit. Yep. That's what you get from Amazon. Don't worry, I will be getting a new one to bless your presence in the near future. What a weekend we had, man. What a weekend. I know football is over, and here we are. We're trying to find things to watch over the weekend for sports-wise. NASCAR was a great race, like I said. We have college basketball. The March Madness has started now. More on it later. The court storming debacle. Court storming is the thing now, where that finally a player got severely injured from it against the losing team, and a Duke player, which is not good for court storming. In football, makes more sense. In basketball, it's so compact and so small. It's kind of tough to say if it's okay or not. I'm kind of on the fence of, I used to like it because it's fun, but now it's getting kind of ridiculous. It's almost like, oh, we beat this team we're not supposed to beat. We're just going to rush the court. It used to be we beat the number one team, or, we beat the number two team who's been undefeated against us for the last 10 years. But now it's like, oh, we're ranked 25, but we beat ranked 13th. So we're going to storm the court. Okay, yeah, it's getting a little ridiculous. Not going to lie. I like the whole Tennessee taking down the uprights in the football stadium and throwing them in the river. That's fun. You can see on Google Maps that if you look at the river, like on the Earth view, you can see one of the uprights actually in the water still. That's a lot of fun. Not gonna lie, but it's getting a little ridiculous with Flafowski for Duke severely injuring his knee when the fans rushed on the court and took him out. It's kind of rough. Not gonna lie. But what can you do? Everyone gets a participation trophy and a cupcake now. Yeah, pretty much. And the worst part about that, real quick, I don't want to go on a tangent on this. The worst part about that is that they're not even giving first place trophies anymore in kids sports. They're not giving first place trophies. They're not giving second place trophies. They're not giving anything. Everybody just gets a participation trophy, whether you win or lose. I'll have to save that rant for another day, my fellow ranters. If you win, you deserve something for winning. Shout out to Liverpool winning the Carabao Cup against Chelsea over the weekend. Without further ado, and I say adieu, let's jump into the rant lines. The rant lines. Everyone's favorite thing when I just rant about the crappy or weird things that happen over the weekend. Before I do the rant lines, though, I do want to give a shout out to MondayNightRants.com. Check out MondayNightRants.com for picks. I give my picks: Thomas Stevens, Heavy T, Tyler Soto. The inept franchise, we talked about it last week. The Bears, the first one. They're so bad. The Bears, well, guess what? Number 2 got released today. Heavy T couldn't be with us here tonight. He will be here next week. But he released the second edition. It's the Miami Marlins. The Miami Marlins. The inept franchise series on MondayNightRants.com. The Miami Marlins. His blog post is up. Go look at it. Go to it after the show is over, of course. Go to MondayNightRants.com. Check out why the Miami Marlins are an inept franchise. I know it, but they won 2 World Series. Yo, you got to read what Heavy T has to say. Because he'll tell you exactly why they're an inept franchise. And the ownership has a lot to do with it. They've had more owners than playoff wins, series wins, since 2000. Check it out. That is a lot of fun. All right, let's jump into the rant lines real quick. Number one. Who needs the combine? Say nay, say nay, say nay. Now, I'm okay with this. I think the combine is kind of silly anyways, right? It's almost like a Herculean event that the NFL set up to get all these players together and see how fast they could run. Not in a football setting. How far they could jump. Not in a football setting. You see a trend here. All these things are not in a football setting. Well, Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels, they will not throw at the combine because they're going to throw at their own pro days, which is fine. They shouldn't be at the combine throwing. They shouldn't be anywhere throwing. I think Caleb Williams has done enough. I don't think he's... Can't you just see him throw, in a Pac-12 college football game and know, hey, that's a good quarterback? Or does he have to throw to wide open people in a non-live football setting for you to say, that's my guy? Come on. To me, I'm an eye person. I want to see what you do on the field. I look at tape. I look at college football tape. I see what you do on the field. I know everybody the talent. In a combine, the talent. He's throwing to random receivers who are wide open. There's plenty of QBs over the history of time who have not had good combines, who have been great quarterbacks in the NFL. Tom Brady. There's been quarterbacks who have great combines, who have been terrible quarterbacks in the NFL. Mr. Trubisky. See what I mean? Combine's just a Herculean thing the NFL needs to get. Hey, guys, we got the draft. We got free agency. What are we going to do, I don't know, in February? Let's make the combine. Silly. The scouts already know. They see him in real live situations. It's almost like maybe for the 6th or 7th rounders. The first rounders, the second, they don't need to be in this thing. Let's be real. You don't believe me? Fight me. Jimmy G. No more Jimmy G. He's done. May he rest in peace in the USFL or whatever it's called now. The UFL. The UFL. Speaking of, man, I'm about to go off, guys. My fellow ranters. I don't know why. I don't know what kind of mood I'm in right now or why I created this rant lines. It just gets worse. How many times can this man be on my show? How many times? The 49ers, the last vacancy in major coaching vacancies in the NFL, interviewed Brandon Staley. I think everyone just left because I just yelled at them. But that's what Monday Night Rants is. Oh, they're back. Hey. Why is Brandon Staley... Okay. I understand when he was the Rams defensive coordinator for like 2 years, he did pretty decent. Okay? I get that. The Chargers had one of the highest paid defenses in the NFL. He was the coach. They had the head coach of the Chargers, so there's more things to do there. But still, he refused to give over the defensive play calling and still call the defense of the Chargers while he was the head coach. Well, it got embarrassingly bad. In 3 years, he's never had a top 15 defense as the defensive coordinator for the Chargers and head coach. He's had the highest paid defense in the NFL, one of the top 3, all 3 years combined. And against the rush, 30th, 28th, and 17th. What was the 49ers' weakness in the playoffs? Coming down the end of the season, the rush. And yet they're seriously thinking about hiring this guy as their defensive coordinator. But I know, Edward, when he was on the Rams that 1 year. Okay, I get it. There has to be better. There has to be better. There has to be better than Brad Staley. Hopefully, and I pray, for 49ers fans out there everywhere, they don't make this decision. Because first of all, it wasn't even the defense that lost them the Super Bowl. It was really bonehead mistakes and not being able to finish on offense and kicking too many field goals and the missed extra point. And also, Shanahan saying or not telling his players, hey, if we win the toss, we don't want the ball first. Not the defense. Wilkes was not the problem. You can't tell me that Brandon Staley is a better defense coordinator than Steve Wilkes. You can't. Not a million years would I believe that. Mike Fuente says Shanahan freezes in the biggest moments. You are correct, my friend. 100% correct. All right. We're going to have some fun now. I don't know if you guys saw this yesterday over on the old Twitter. By the way, shout out to TikTok. I now have a TikTok. That's right. I've joined the dark side. It's at Edward Raus on all your favorite social media platforms, including TikTok. We posted some good videos there. We have the Heavy Tea nipple bottle video. If you haven't seen it, check out MindRants.com or TikTok now at Edward Raus, where Heavy Tea talks about how the Gatorade nipple bottle is the best. And we posted a clip this last week with my good friend Elliot Jams from the Drew Show was on last week. Talked about sports we wish to be sports. The jousting video is up there as well. But this went viral yesterday. Don't mess with Cam Newton. Don't mess with, and I'm going to show the video. I'm going to show the video, people. Don't mess with Cam Newton. Because Cam Newton single-handedly had 3 people come out to him and try to jump him, mug him, whatever the hell they were doing. It looked like... okay. It looked like he was unfathomed. He had 2 of them in headlock. He's using them to fight the other ones away. It was a sight to be seen. I don't know what he's doing with his hat. I don't know what he puts on his hat to keep it so snug on his head. But check this out. Cam Newton is one of the most physical, biggest quarterbacks this league has ever seen. How his hat didn't fall off, I still have no idea. I don't know what he does there. I know his hair sticking out through it. It's his own thing. It's great. But what are those 3 guys doing? They're all like, what, 5'7", 5'9". They try to jump him or fight him or whatever they're trying to do. If you look at it again, he has 2 of them in headlocks like this, and he's literally using them to hit the other people that are trying to fight him. And even at one point, some guy tries to walk up and sucker punch him. Unfazed. Hat perfectly crisp. You don't mess with Cam Newton. I don't know what was going on there. That was his 7x7 tournament that he does for charity. And some three random people decided they wanted to fight him. Maybe he said something. I have no idea what happened. All I know is what I saw in the video. What I just showed you. That's all I know. What I saw was he's a big man. And it'll take more than 3 or 4 people to take him down. So I don't know what was going on there, what was happening. Mike in the chat says Cam should be a defensive end. He probably could be a defensive end. He is that big. Like I said, he's one of the biggest, more physical quarterbacks we have ever seen in the NFL. He's an MVP. Let's not forget. He's an MVP. He did lose his one Super Bowl chance. Peyton Manning maybe to blame for that, and that Denver defense. But, however, come on now. Let's be real. So, shout out to Cam Newton for defending themselves. It sucks it got on video like that and trending everywhere and people, having their own comments on it. But at least he defended himself and did it well. Like, he was the best 2 headlocks using him this week. Sometimes Goliath does win in the David versus Goliath match, my people. It does, and it will. March Madness is here. It really is here. It's almost March. This is the last Monday we'll be doing in February. We'll be in March next week. The AP rankings came out today, and my goodness, are things just getting absolutely crazy. Now, I thought all season long UConn would be the best team when it's all said and done. I think a repeat's still in order. There's no doubt in my mind that I think that UConn can repeat as double champions back-to-back in the NCAA March Madness tournament. Houston, number 1, is a little bit of a head-scratcher. The conference, who they've beaten, how much. One of the best defensive teams in the country. They're now number 1, Houston. We went through this last year with Houston. Purdue, number 2, with Edey, by the way. Shout out to Edey. He will finally be joining the NBA. He announced he will commit to the NBA draft after this season. It's about time. I don't think he's going to be transitioned into a great NBA player. Not like a Chet Holmgren. He'll be a good NBA player, but not like a great NBA player. More on that later, though. More on that when we cover the NBA draft. UConn moved all the way to 3, which I thought was interesting. Yeah, the loss was really, really bad. After they destroyed Marquette, who, by the way, I still think is a Final Four team. Marquette. I've been winning bets on them all year. Love it. The loss to Creighton was really bad, but listen, was it by 19 points? Creighton's still a top 15 team at the time. So I understand in the tournament you got to win them all. That's the only way you're going to win. But to me, UConn, even with that loss, is still the number 1 team, and it's not even close. Look at the palm. Look at the strength of schedule. UConn should still be number 1 despite the loss. Come on. Houston, Purdue, UConn, Tennessee, who's been rising up the ranks. A good streak they have going. My Marquette team, who I absolutely love. And then you got the Arizona, Kansas, Iowa State, North Carolina, and then Duke after the big loss to Wake Forest with the storm courting, or the storm the court, which hurt Flipowski, which is going to really hurt them in the long run. Not going to lie. It looks like a bad knee injury, which is even worse. So we'll see how it all plays out. I love that St. Mary's is now ranked 17th and Gonzaga's 23rd. You got 2 teams there from the West. My Mountain West, I'm all down for the Mountain West every year. Utah State holding it strong at 22. Still some good Mountain West teams that can make some noise here, but I love Utah State. And I think it's going to be one of the most undecided, improbable March Madness tournaments you've ever seen. Ever. But ultimately, I still think UConn will be the champion at this point. Too strong. Defense, offensively, too good. Too good. And I'm running really behind. So, hey, let me see if Matt Selz wants to run through the new Clippers brand identity with me. I'm going to be passionate about this, people. I'm passionate about this. So give me my time. I have been a Clippers fan since I was a little lad. A little boy. A little boy. They were the Buffalo Braves from 1970 to 1978. In 1978, they became the San Diego Clippers. Everyone knows I'm, lo and behold, love my San Diego teams. We don't have many of them anymore. In 1984, not 5 years later, they moved to LA because Donald Sterling is an asshole. What gave it away? Go listen to the tapes. Give it a goog. Then comes Steve Ballmer and changes the franchise completely. I know we had Chris Paul and Blake Griffin and all those, teams that never quite lived up to expectations in the playoffs but here we are. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook. We have an all-star team 10 years ago. But they had an identity crisis. They really did. Look what I had to put up with my entire life. Yeah. Look at that again. What on earth is this? The Buffalo Braves make sense. A little racist now. Very. And then the San Diego Clippers with some weird 70s art going on that's like some art deco. I understand it's a sail with the sun going behind because, okay, here's a little Clippers lore for all you out there. A lot of you may not know this. A Clipper is a ship in San Diego. A Clipper ship that comes and docks and takes things to and from San Diego. It's called Clipper ship. It's a Navy ship. That's why they're called the San Diego Clippers. It's a ship. It has sails. It's on water. That makes more sense than the Lakers. They're from Michigan, where there's lakes. They're not the Los Angeles Tar Pits. Don't get me started on the Utah Jazz. There's no Jazz in Utah. But the Clippers are from San Diego, and that's why they stole the Clippers name. So I'm proud to say that they kept it. But going back to this, in 1983, the San Diego Clippers, that logo is garbage. It's terrible. It's clip arty. Then they didn't change it much all the way till 2011 and 2015. They just changed San Diego to Los Angeles, all the Chargers. But then in 2015, we're at Steve Ballmer. We're getting a name brand change. We're going to have a new Clippers logo. And this is the thing that they put in front of me in 2015. That is trash. That is garbage. My daughter, who's 5, can't do better than that Clippers logo in 2015. I've had to wear jerseys with this stupid thing on it since 2015 because I love my Clippers. By the way, I know San Diego has an MLS team, and then they did this debacle. What is this? Chrome? Chrome is not a color. Chrome is not a color. This is trash. So I got that too. And finally, today, the Clippers did something that I think is absolutely incredible. This is its own identity. The Clippers have their own identity, and I love it. Check this out. Look at that. Red, white, and blue, like the original Clippers, Los Angeles, make waves, getting the San Diego roots, getting the San Diego fans involved because they have nothing anymore. They lost the Chargers. They love Steve Ballmer. Look at this. It's a Clipper ship with a compass, with a sea. I love it. I absolutely love this. I'm not going to lie. I wanted to hate it, but I love it. And look at, like, I would rock this LA, the secondary A LA hat all day, every day. This is just its own identity, its own brand. I just love everything. They kept the blue with the red and the blue, with the red and the navy blue. I know this right here looks a little Washington Wizards-y with the colors. I get that. But look at this, man. This is just absolutely gorgeous. Look at these jerseys. I'm buying all 3 of them. I'm buying all 3 of them. Number 13 with my last name on them because that's my lucky number. No, I love Paul George too. He's played at Fresno State here, but this is gorgeous. This is its own. The Clippers now identify as a real basketball team. The Clippers now identify as a real basketball team brand-wise. On paper, they do also identify as that. But this is just, like, look at this, man. This is just so clean, so simple, so good that this will be their brand for a long time. Gotta love the sails, by the way. If you didn't know, these are the sails for LAC, the markings for them on the flags. Just absolutely beautiful. And unfortunately, I won't be at the Grove here from the 26th to the 27th to buy some of this stuff. Which, by the way, what a weird marketing ploy. Let's change our identity 3/4 of the way through the season. Nobody's going to buy any Clipper stuff anymore until this stuff comes out. If you wait until after the season, you would have made a little bit more money. But what do I know? I'm not Steve Ballmer. Not yet. All right. Matthew Selz! Welcome to Monday on the Better Sports Network. How's your day going, my friend? How's your Monday night? I'm sorry you just had to hear me yell. I'm actually excited about this Clippers branding. It's finally their own identity. It's their own thing, and they're leaving the Staples Center. They're going to the Intuit Dome, the wall, everything, this new branding, the cool logo. Like, they're it, man. They're going to be an it team. I love it.
Yeah, it's definitely the cleanest logo they've had, maybe ever.
Although
somebody on Twitter put it looks like you're shooting the Titanic, but
okay. Well, it's gonna be haters everywhere, right? There always is, especially when something's new. When anything is ever new, everyone immediately already hates it, especially on Twitter. Twitter is a cesspool of hate. 80% of you only comment on Twitter if you hate something. Like, that's the only time you either like it or you hate it. And when you hate it, you comment. It's Yelp. Twitter is now Yelp. Twitter is Yelp of tech creators.
Jeff Gluck put up the tweet about, was it a good race? 5% of people said Atlanta was a bad race.
Who are those 5? That was the best race I've ever seen in a long time.
Somebody said it's because Chase didn't win, so the 5 people.
Oh, Jesus Christ. He was just the same guy that was flipping off Ross Chastain on his TV, too. Right?
Yeah, I don't know how you watch that race and go, no, I don't like that.
I had people texting me who weren't even into Heavy T texted me and said, dude, the end of the race was crazy. Like, we did it. Matt Selz, we did it. We got Heavy T in NASCAR.
There you go.
We did it. Well, I accomplished a goal. Yeah, well, let's bring that up now. We're going to talk about it. Atlanta, by the way, that format has to stay. We're talking about NASCAR now, people. That format has to stay. That was amazing. The whole race was good. You had everything you could ask for. Strategy. You had strategy mixed with the crashes, mixed with like everything. The photo finish, the third closest race in NASCAR history.
Yes.
And my boy, of course. Okay. I'm going to be really depressed if he doesn't win a race this whole season and misses out in the playoffs by 0.0003 seconds.
Now, in fairness, he has the 2 closest wins in Talladega history and now has the closest loss in Atlanta history. So,
but the way his car has looked these first 2 weeks, I think he's going to be just fine.
they look pretty good. They do look pretty.
Imagine if he had a competent pit team. Holy cow. We be talking Brian Blaney dynasty right now.
They are like the Ferrari of
yes,
of definitely. NASCAR.
All right.
It's not been good for a little while.
Before we start talking about the race, why don't you tell everybody how well you did during the race on your betting picks, my betting picks. We both won on Grill vs. Grill. We both won.
We did. My guy finished closer to the front.
Okay. Yeah.
As close to the front as you can physically get.
Yeah.
So that was great. Yeah. I had Daniel Suarez winning. I wrote him up at 35-1, and one of the subs read that and took him at 45-1, and was salty that he only got him that he missed the 55-1 line. I was like, well, when I wrote him up 3 days before the race, he was 35-1, so you still got better odds than when I wrote him up.
For real.
Real quick, I'm going to make a pick in the mock draft I'm doing at the moment. Took Shoto Imanaga. How about that?
We'll talk about that a little later. I'm in the Great Fantasy Baseball Invitational right now, and I'm actually in the same league as Howard Bender, and he's probably feeling my pain right now because we are still in round 2.
Yeah, slow drafts are fun.
We've had one person time out and a second person nearly time out.
Already?
Yes! I'm like, yeah, me and Howard are like, we're dying. Like, it took me a minute. Like, come on. I got, jeez, this is crazy. You know it's coming today. You know, you can see the dates. You know, okay, anyways, I'm going to rant on that later. Back to NASCAR.
Yeah. So I took Suarez to win 35-1. That hit. I took Suarez as a top 10 at plus 175. That hit. On the write-up, I also said if you're feeling frisky, you could take him at a top 5 at plus 450.
Mm-hmm.
That would have hit. I took him in a matchup. I think it was over. Was it over? I think it was over Ty Gibbs. At
That's
minus 105, which was actually the shortest odds in that matchup. And that hit. I took Ryan Blaney for a top 10. So that hit.
That's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer, though.
As my cat gets involved here.
I got this for you. And Ross Chastain, top 10. Your boy over here.
Yep.
Ross
in the
Chastain, top 10.
You took him.
I'll give a little air horn for everybody. An air horn for everyone who followed Fantasy Alarm and Matt Selz and myself and bet on NASCAR because you all won. I won DFS too, by the way. I won about $180. So air horn. Because I had Chastain, I had Suarez, and I had Blaney in a lot of my lineups combined. So really, it really didn't matter who else you had with them. You kind of did pretty well. Oh, and Bubba Wallace. That was like my core 4. I had Chastain, Suarez, Blaney, and Bubba Wallace as my core 4. And they all were in top 10.
Yeah, avoiding the chalk was the key way to do it, it seems.
Yeah, Blaney wasn't as chalk. The chalk was Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott was like, I think, the highest owned.
Chalk. Joey Logano was chalk.
Eric he crashed Jones, out.
Love that. Eric Jones starting 37th was chalk.
Mm-hmm. There was another one that was huge chalk too. Was it LaJoy?
Yeah, I think LaJoy starting like 31st was chalk.
Yeah, he was chalk. But he actually pointed out pretty well. So Chase Elliott pointed out pretty well too. But for the most part, yeah, all those Hamlin and Logano lineups. Rough sauce.
Yeah, I mean, at least Logano admitted it was his fault in the post race.
Oh yeah, what was that? That was almost.
He tried to get into the hole and missed it, and
that literally looked like a grandma changing lanes on the freeway, not checking her blind spot. That's exactly what that looked like.
Yeah, pretty close to that. So
yeah, it was pretty bad.
But that race had everything. I mean, it had a 16-car pileup on lap 2, and then it settled down, and it was fantastic. I think there were fewer cars not involved in wrecks than involved in wrecks.
4 wide.
Yeah, then we have 4 wide.
4 wide.
So like
4 wide in a NASCAR race.
It was absolutely bonkers. I don't know what else we can say about this. I'm taking Brandon Fott, by the way, in the next pick.
Go for it. So they need to keep that format in Atlanta. They need to keep that race. Yeah. I don't know how. This is like the first time, I think, forever, that the NASCAR season started 2 kind of plate drafting races back to back. I know that you've had them back to back before, but that's because they moved Daytona further in the season. That way.
Yes, correct.
So it's the first time it started.
But I do kind of like the way. So like the initial thought was, oh great, 2 wild card races to start the year, right? But if you think about it, Daytona 500 always kicks things off. That one's not moving.
William Byron was going to be in the playoffs regardless of that too.
I mean, right. So it's
Suarez though.
True. But then Atlanta is kind of a hybrid, right? Because it's a mile and a half, but they run the super speedway package, so
It's a
you
lot of fun
kind of
though.
get
It's my favorite race now. I
you
love it.
kind of get Daytona, but then you also kind of get the intermediate, which we're now going to next week with Vegas.
Ugh.
So like it's a nice little transition.
I just feel bad for all these NASCAR fans who are new that had just watched those 2 races back to back, and now you get to experience the Vegas race.
I mean, the Vegas race is okay. It's
It's
not
okay,
great.
but you're gonna
It's
have
better than
one
just
or
tune out.
2 guys out in front of everybody else.
It's not as bad as Texas.
Yeah, Texas is the worst of all time.
Don't
It's just
even
not
watch
gonna
it.
be
I
as
don't even watch
exciting.
it, man. I don't watch the Texas race. I don't know if I should say that. Like I know the strategy. I know how to build
Yeah.
lineup. Tell you how to. I don't watch it. I got better things to do.
But
That race is atrocious.
okay, is it me or does Fox just know or have this thing where they know how to just go to commercial break at the wrong time?
They do every time. It brings out a caution.
Every time.
Amazing.
I was like, but by the way, shout out to Kevin Harvick. I actually really enjoy him because obviously he's not like a real commentator. He has, he stumbles through things and, but
Yeah.
when he talks, his insight is so much better than the other guys that I listen to him talking about what he's talking about and how the race is. Boyer's Boyer. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about half the time. But
No, he's just filling time.
but Kevin Harvick is so he's really good at just the knowledge and making you understand, and probably really good for people who are getting into NASCAR for the first time to understand things. I've been really impressed with what he's done just from the knowledge he has to share the racing sport with everybody. Impressive. But then they go to commercial and a caution happens and you come back and it just shows a car sitting in the middle of the infield. And you went,
Yeah,
what happened?
I was talking about this with a friend of mine today. Actually, I would thoroughly enjoy it if NASCAR came out with like a Sky Sports package. Right? So
I'm
if you watch
surprised that, well,
F1, if you watch F1 on ESPN, right?
okay.
It does not go to commercial the entire time.
Did the Las Vegas, that's the only race I watched last year. Was that did that
It
not go
did
to
not go to
commercial at all?
commercial.
Huh.
During practice and qualifying, it does occasionally. Like qualifying in
That's
between the
fine.
rounds, it'll go
Yeah.
to commercial. Practice a couple of times during the hour-long practice, but during the race, they do not go to commercial. Now, they know that it's only taking up a certain amount of time because they format the race to be that long.
It's also a shorter race. It doesn't last as long.
Well, true. They have formatted it so that A, they don't have to refuel during the race because they don't allow that anymore. And B, they have regulations that say you have to get 2 hours of racing in a 3-hour window. That's why a couple of years ago they timed the Monaco Grand Prix because of the rain. It delayed it. Once the green flag time happens, you have 3 hours to get 2 hours worth of racing in, and it ends. So that's why it was that time plus a lap, right? So Formula One has specifically geared it to TV, but Sky Sports is also a paid service in the UK. It's not like a normal cable station. You pay extra for it, like ESPN Plus, right?
Your cat agrees.
She does. So if NASCAR did that and they went with like a paid service where you could actually get the race and not commercial, because let's face it, the scoreboard is, the scoring pylon is sponsored. Everything they talk about in NASCAR is sponsored.
Everything.
Every single car except for maybe one or
Creed, the band Creed was a sponsor last week.
Correct. Now, did not help Jimmy Johnson's cause.
It did not take him higher. That is for sure.
Well, not in the standings. No. Maybe in frustration level.
True.
But I'm just saying, you have like the white flag is sponsored.
Everything. The checkered flag is sponsored by Sunoco. Like it's all sponsored. Everything.
Exactly. And then they say this thing is like this section of commercial-free racing is brought to you by this, and then they run a 4-minute commercial. So it's not actually commercial-free. They've just squeezed it into one commercial break.
Yeah.
So in general, I think Fox has been pretty decent this year. It's
No,
easier to say that about the Daytona 500 and that Atlanta race.
I got one thing I got to say before you say that with Fox, and then so hold your thought.
Okay.
Hold your thought. The Crank It Up, they've done 2 Crank It Ups.
And they've been useless.
They've been during pit stops.
Yeah.
I don't want to. There's a 48-mile-an-hour limit on the pit stop, and they're cranking it up. They're doing the crank up where they do like, we're not going to talk. We're just going to let you listen to the race and crank it up and show all the different car things, right? Both
Yeah.
of them for both races at the Daytona 500 and Atlanta, 2 of the fastest racetracks in the sport. They did crank it up during pit stops.
And they haven't done it they didn't do it during the 4 wide. Like that would have been
Pit stops.
like hearing the spotters during 4 wide would have been phenomenal.
Oh, okay. So here's what I do, but I'm a little weird. So I got the race on here, but
You have radio go.
I got Ryan Blaney's scanner and I have Ryan Blaney camera from his race always on. And there's no commercials there. So I can see what he's doing and listen to so I know what's going on probably about 30 seconds ahead of what's going on TV. And when it goes to commercial, I hear caution's out, crash behind you. And then I look and it's some sort of pill that makes you skinny going on over here. So but
with
by the
like
way,
97 side effects.
NASCAR does have that, and that's really cool. We talk about what like the F1 has and Sky Sports. If you go to NASCAR.com and you have a computer handy or your tablet, you could actually pick your favorite driver and just watch his cam from the hood of his car as he's driving and listen to his scanner, and you can see kind of what's going on, and it showed you the standings on the left side too. So you kind of have a good idea, and you don't have to listen to Clint Boyer ramble about bullshit. So I kind of like doing that and just having this kind of on low. But then I will admit, when Blaney was making that move and it went to like 20 laps to go, I turned off the scanner, I turned off the thing, and just went and watched full coverage on the TV. But it's a great experience. It's really cool. So NASCAR does have that, and that's really fun.
Yeah, that is the better way to listen. You'll also get when the caution comes out, you'll know sooner. You'll know that there's penalties sooner too if you can listen to NASCAR's official feed.
So I saw 4 wide from Blaney's hood, by the way, who was behind him, right behind him when that happened.
I love that one guy broke free and they're like, "There's still 4 wide," and then another guy shoots them. There's still 4 wide. So it was, yeah, that was great. Not sure we're gonna see that in Vegas, but we'll see.
No,
Who knows?
no.
Who knows? Certainly not seeing it at Phoenix.
What's going to be the theme for Grill vs. Grill this week? It's in Vegas, so we could do anything. We obviously peaches because peaches are the trophy. Atlanta makes sense. Hamburger versus hot dog, all American race. What?
How about breakfast food
for Vegas?
Breakfast buffets.
Okay.
They're pretty well
done.
Known for it.
Done and done. The Grill vs. Grill theme this week will be breakfast.
My kids are going to be excited.
Dude, everyone in my family is going to be excited too. Well, what am I going to do? Now I got a show to do, man. You got me thinking. So Grill vs. Grill this week will be breakfast. By the way, you can check out last week and obviously the Daytona 500 Grill vs. Grill video on the Fantasy Alarm YouTube, or just go to MondayNightRants.com. Click on the NASCAR link there, and you'll see the Grill vs. Grill videos there as well. We'll a little write-up about what we're doing and what the themes are. Matt Selz, Vegas is coming up here this week. Where obviously we just talked about the 2 bangers we just had of races. It's going to slow down a little bit here. Vegas a 1.5 mile, right? 1.5 mile track. Usually whichever car is built the fastest.
Track position is king here.
Yeah, not a lot of passing. Matters a lot, unless you're Kyle Larson. But who do you think is the early favorite?
Practice, though. We do get actual practice that they will use, so we do actually get to see cars on track.
Who's your early favorite? Who's your early favorite? You got Kyle Larson, who's like a Vegas killer. William Byron.
Usually Chevys do pretty well at Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Larson's been quick. I think he's motivated that they now don't have plate racing for a little while.
He's not a good plate racer. He's not.
No.
He dominates every other aspect of racing.
I think Kyle Busch could get the win.
Busch has been 3 weeks in a row. Isn't he the point leader right now?
I think so. He's finished second? 2 weeks in a row.
Twice. No,
Yeah.
well, he second and third. Blaney
Okay.
finished second,
Right.
obviously.
Yeah. Um. So we'll see. I mean, we'll have to see what the cars look like on track. It's also tricky because they're going to go back to that stupid group practicing thing,
Oh,
which is annoying. I hate that. Like, if you're going to give 40 minutes of practice, just give 40 minutes of practice and let every car on the track at the same time so that conditions are the same. So that you're in the betting capital of the world. People love to bet your sport, and you're making it very hard to figure out who's actually fast. I
yep.
don't
That's
get it.
Vegas for you.
I mean, it's just NASCAR in general. The stupid group qualifying and group practice is obnoxious because the group qualifying, like, let's say you have Group A runs real quick, right? And so the 1 through 5 in Group B would have slotted 6 through 10
Hmm.
in Group, or past six through
That
ten in Group
that
A.
kind of throws everything off a little bit too. So you
Then you've
you really
got
don't
5
know. Yeah.
faster cars starting behind 5 slower
Yeah.
cars,
Yeah.
and then yeah, so it just gets annoying. Put everybody out on the track at the same dang time, and then let
But see,
people.
you're on top of all this stuff at fantasyalarm.com. You know who's faster starting behind who and who is the best pick for your DFS lineups or to bet on.
I mean, there are ways to sort it out. Yeah, if in general you spot a lot of times in Group A being faster, track probably had something to do with it. It's probably not that all of the fast cars wound up in one spot. It's probably they had better track conditions to go set faster times.
And will there be rain in Vegas this weekend? Probably not. I think we're pretty
Probably
safe.
not.
Yeah.
Probably, although there was snow at Auto Club last year. There was a snow delay at Auto
And
Club last
that
year.
would have been the Atlanta race this year. So
Correct.
that
Yeah,
track is
because
being
they
redone.
they demolished Auto Club
Uh,
Speedway.
did they demolish it or they're redo it? Are they doing a new one,
Well, it
right?
currently is like a dirt patch with some stands. They took out a bunch of the stands and basically all of the track.
So are they redoing it to make it a track again?
Yes.
It's really sad because it's sad that we don't have a NASCAR race in LA. Well, I know the
Yeah,
Coliseum.
it'll reopen.
The
It'll
Coliseum
re-
is a event that can't be a legit NASCAR race. You can't do 400, 500 miles on that thing. It's not,
No, but the track they're building at Auto Club is only twice the size of
it's
what
small, right? It's a short track.
it's Bristol, but on the West Coast.
Yeah, okay.
They're
Cool.
building a West Coast Bristol.
Well, they need
Is what
something.
they're
They
doing.
should, if they're smart in LA, they'd build another super speedway. That's for entertainment value. That's what LA needs, right?
I mean, theoretically, if you put asphalt on Bristol, it gets better.
Yes, that's true. I'll give you that. I mean, but I guess no one in LA is used to going fast because they're always in traffic. So maybe that
I
makes a
mean,
lot of sense.
there is that too. Yeah,
Just
usually if you
open up the 405 and let all the cars go as fast as they can down it with no traffic. See what happens.
yeah,
See what happens.
it sounds like
That's
a
an event
real.
I want to see. I want to see all the NASCAR say, okay, you're starting here, you're starting in Valencia, and you're going to Disneyland. Good luck. Go. All the freeways are open. You choose your own way. I would watch that. That should be a sport. We talked about last week how sports that should be sports.
There you go.
LA traffic fighting. That should be a sport. So like I said, we're gonna switch over to MLB here for the next 10 minutes. I'm in my great fantasy baseball invitational. I had the 13th overall pick out of 15 players. My first pick was Jose Ramirez at 13 overall.
Solid.
And then coming back after the turn, I got Bryce Harper, who's now our first baseman. How you feel I did?
I feel that's pretty solid. I also took Bryce Harper, by the way, in the mock draft that doesn't count for anything tonight. You will
Nice.
be able to see that in the Fantasy Alarm draft guide. I think
Hey,
it comes out
shout it
tomorrow.
out, baby. Shout it out.
Yeah, it'll be out. John and Pemba just took Wyatt Langford in the 20th round there.
Who?
Wyatt Langford.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah. I am going to take Tyler Stevenson because I need a second catcher. But yes, I took Bryce, I think, in the second round.
That's why I took him.
Yeah. I took Julio 4th overall in this mock draft.
Julio Rodriguez. Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
Yeah, I think at 400 overall is pretty good.
I was between
Obviously,
Corbin.
you have to tell me that Acuna did go number 1, right?
He did, yes.
Okay.
That's
And
went
then let's see here. So in this draft I did here in the Great Fantasy Baseball Invitational with Howard Benner's in my league, as I mentioned, it went Acuna, Bobby Witt Jr., Julio Rodriguez 3rd, Corbin Carroll 4th, Kyle Tucker, then Mookie Betts, who, by the way, has outfield, second base, and shortstop eligibility now, which is crazy. Then
Yeah,
the first pitcher off the board.
Betts went
Go ahead.
second. Betts went
Okay.
second in the mock draft.
Spencer Strider was the first pitcher off the board. Then Tatis, Freddie Freeman, Aaron Judge, Juan Soto. Every draft I've seen or every mock draft has Aaron Judge and Juan Soto going back to back. It is crazy. And then Ohtani as a hitter, and then Jose Ramirez, and then Garrett Cole. So I gave up to get Ramirez. I gave up Matt Olson, Yordan Alvarez, Trey Turner, and Garrett Cole. I thought Ramirez was the safer pick of those four.
Yeah,
obviously, I don't like drafting a pitcher in round 1 because you lose that value, especially the 5-tool value that Jose Ramirez has for Garrett Cole. Trey Turner was really bad last year. I'm not sold on his power. Matt Olson's great. He's solid. He would have been I was hoping he'd be there on the way back. And then Yordan Alvarez, great hitter, home runs galore, but the injury problems are there. I know Bryce Harper has injury problems, but I'd rather have Bryce than Austin Riley. And plus, I already had my boy at third base already, so I didn't need another third baseman in that situation. So, and I hate Gunnar Henderson as a fantasy player. I love him as a baseball player.
He was a rookie, man. How are you hating on a rookie already?
He's Hamilton Simmons, man. He's a great baseball player. Gunnar Henderson is going to be a great baseball player, but he's never going to put up. He's what's his face, the first overall pick who was on the Braves and on the Cubs, Dansby Swanson. Great baseball player, but when it comes to fantasy points and everything, he won Rookie of the Year by default. He is the Cole Custer of baseball last year. He won by default. There's no one else.
You're just tossing names out there just to be.
I like names.
All right.
I call people names all the time, Matt Selz.
Let's take Yuki Matsui.
It's one of my skills. So you're doing the mock draft for the fantasyalarm.com draft guide, correct?
Correct. Yes. We are in round 21 of a 12-team.
And it's all the employees of fantasyalarm.com going and doing the mock draft.
Of subscribers.
Oh, you brought fans into this.
We did. We gifted one of them the first overall pick.
Oh, God. Who they take? Let me guess. Ronald Acuna Jr.
Yeah.
Which you should. If you have the first pick, okay. If you have the first pick at any fantasy baseball draft this year, whether it's redraft, whether it's dynasty, I don't care what the point system is. I don't care what it is. Or if you have a first pick in fantasy baseball this year and you don't draft Ronald Acuna Jr., you are completely wasting your time, your money, your life. I've never seen such a clear number 1 in the history of fantasy baseball, even fantasy football. People are like, I'm going to be cute. There's 1.5 receptions for Italian. I'm going to draft Travis Kelce overall first. How did that work out for you last year?
I mean,
Ronald Acuna Jr. is the most sure thing to a number 1 draft pick in any fantasy sport I've ever seen in my life right now. Do you agree?
He's there. You could make an argument for Julio Rodriguez.
Nope, you cannot. You cannot.
You could.
Okay, make an argument. And don't. And by the way, Bobby Witt Jr. number 2.
I mean, Bobby Witt went 3rd in our.
Still, that's kind of a you're shooting for a ceiling there with Bobby Witt. Still, with Ronald Acuna, you know exactly what you're getting.
His ceiling is still 35-35.
That's a ceiling, though. He's still young. He still hasn't had.
There is no way that Ronald Acuna surpasses last year's.
He's not going to surpass next year. Don't get me wrong. He's not, but he's going to still be there. He's going to still give it a go. He's still going to outpoint everybody by 60 points or 100 points like he did last year. Am I wrong?
No. I mean, I'm with you that Acuna is the number 1 pick.
Not even close.
I'm just saying you could. The only other guy I could see an argument for is Julio Rodriguez.
There's no argument.
Because I
There's
think there
none.
is more in the tank for Julio.
Yeah.
He had a down year last year and still went 32-37.
What down year, though? Last year was his second year in the league.
It was a sophomore slump. Down year.
Yeah. Okay. No. A down year is when you have.
Okay.
No.
Look up his first 2 months of the season. It was not good.
I know. But a down year for a player going into his third year isn't a down year. You don't have enough.
Sophomore slump.
No, okay, you call it that, but it's not a down year. It's a sophomore slump.
A slump is by definition a down year, right?
No.
Yes.
For me, a down year, you have to have at least 4 years under your belt of good, solid numbers, and then you have a down year. You can't second season have a down year. It doesn't work like that. It's just maybe that's who you are. There's not enough sample size to know.
It was a rough year for him coming off of what was an electric rookie year.
Yeah.
And he still went 32-37. And
Yeah.
it was, and he didn't put up any stats for you in the first 2 months of the season, basically.
That's not a rough year. That's a good year still. Not a down year. Maybe that's who he is. With an extra month.
I don't think that's. I think that's.
You think he's higher?
I think he can go more.
By the way, is it me or like everybody I talk to? Maybe it's you too. Where when Julio Rodriguez looks at you or talks in the camera, you just look into his eyes.
Yeah, he's mesmerizing.
He's mesmerizing, right? Holy crap! It's like that's one of the best looking men I've ever seen.
He's got like a Brad Pitt quality about him, where like everybody who meets Brad Pitt goes, he talks at you, like nothing else, man. Like he's staring,
and his eyes are just like, whoa! It's like when you were like a kid and discovered the kaleidoscope for the first time. You know what I mean? It's Colby. Like it's crazy. All right. Hey, stop getting sniped over there. You're which I hate, by the way. Your turn will come when it's your turn.
I did some sniping with Shoto Imanaga.
Okay, there you go. You want to talk prospects?
We can talk prospects.
Let's talk prospects. I love talking prospects.
So basically, you need help with your dynasty.
You're my friend. I bring you on this show because you're my friend, not because I need a platform to do better in my dynasty baseball leagues. That's not how I roll. But how do you feel about this pick? No, I'm kidding. We did finish our draft. By the way, shout out to Heavy T. He did pretty well. He knows the secret. He just uses your prospect list,
rankings,
which I did too, and I had some really good sneakers in there as well.
Yeah, Miller, I got sniped in my home league. I got sniped in my home league because one of the owners in the home league discovered my list.
Yeah,
emailed the list to the league and said, "Is this you?" I said, "How many other Matt Selzes do you know?" I said, "Yeah," and everybody used my list against me in the draft. It was fun.
So what I'm going to do is that's not fair. I'm going to name some prospects that are some of the top prospects on your list. And I want you to tell me, and one of them is very interesting to me as a Padres fan. I want to see how you feel. And you tell me how they'll contribute to everyone's fantasy baseball teams this year, and if they will. Okay? So if you're getting ready to draft your fantasy baseball leagues, and these are the rounds that Matt Sells is in his mock draft, I'll get there in the Great Fantasy Baseball Invitational as well, where you got to start picking rookies and hope they get called up and put some numbers up, halfway through the season or the end, all Alvarez last year or Gunnar Henderson. So I'm going to give you some rookies, and you tell me, will they be up this year, and will they be worth drafting and not waiting on? Okay.
Yep.
Number one is the number one pick, obviously, of all, Jackson Holiday. Do you think he's going to be up this year, and how will he contribute to a fantasy team?
I think he's their starting second baseman
when the season starts.
I think he breaks camp with the team.
Okay.
I don't think there's any reason for them to keep him down anymore.
I agree. Where do you think he gets drafted? Like, where should you draft him then? Where should you target him in your fantasy baseball draft?
That being said, I don't know that the total stat line is going to be overall that impressive.
Oh,
like Colby Conway and I, this just dropped earlier today, previewed the AL East in our latest Caught Stealing MLB podcast.
Great podcast, by the way. Check it out, fanslab.com, YouTube.
And we're previewing it by doing a little game each week where we can only draft. So we draft a catcher, an infielder, an outfielder, starting pitcher and relief pitcher from that division can only take one guy per team in the division, and they have to be outside of ADP 175 since January 1st,
Okay.
except for catcher, because catcher, you're not going to be able to complete this without that, right? Jackson Holiday is going at, since January 1st, is going at pick 177, according to NFBC ADP. So, do I think that's fair? It's a little high for me. I think he gets like 10 homers and like 12 steals.
Well, I'm not picking him at 177 for that.
I don't think he's going to be as electric as Gunnar Henderson.
Really?
Does he have the skill set to be better than? Yes. Do I think he's going to do that in his rookie year? No, I don't think so. I think a ceiling for him is 15-15.
Can you imagine this Orioles team in 5 years?
I mean, it's going to be remarkably good.
Yeah, remarkably good. Okay. Jackson Chourio, who just got a huge contract extension.
Yes.
Not even playing a game at the Major League Baseball level, not spring training. What do you think about him this year?
I mean, he's the starting center fielder for the Brewers.
He's going to be the starting. He's going to break camp, starting center fielder, rookie year. He's
there's zero reason to pay him an 8-year, $72 million contract if he's not breaking camp with the team. He's locked in. Now, that begs the question, how good are the Brewers this year? I think their offense is pretty decent, to be perfectly honest. William Contreras, Rhys Hoskins at first base. Christian Yelich, if he's healthy, can still be pretty decent with a bat in his hand. I think they move him to DH to keep him.
That'd be a smart move. Yeah.
You got Garrett Mitchell coming back from injury.
Don't forget about Joey Wiemer.
Yeah.
Don't forget about Joey Wiemer, baby.
I mean, maybe, sure, but you've got some sneaky good bats there. So I think Chourio is going to be effective. I think you could draft him probably an outfield 4 guy. I wouldn't take him much higher than that because, I mean, he's got the skill set. Again, he's got the skill set to be an absolute stud. Does that mean he's a Julio Rodriguez when he comes up? No. Not his first year, I don't think.
Okay. I like that. There's a lot of players that were taken in this last year's MLB draft that could debut this year. It's one of the weirdest kind of draft years for that we've seen in a long time, right? Yes. The likes of we got Wyatt Langford, we got Paul Skeens, Dylan Cruz.
I think Paul Skeens is getting way too much hype for this year.
You think so? Is he going to actually? I'm sure he'll be called up and pitch. Paul Skeens for Pittsburgh, by the way. They need pitching.
I don't think so.
No, you don't think he gets debuted this year at all?
How many innings did he pitch in pro ball since he was drafted last year?
I don't know. You're the prospect guy. You tell me.
Like 7.
Oh yeah, he's not coming up this year. No way.
He made it to Double-A. Everybody's like, "Woohoo!" Yeah. Did you see his start? He went like an inning in his first start, an inning in 2/3 in his next one, and then like 2 innings in his only start at Double-A. Whoa. Why do we all of a sudden think the Pirates, who slow rolled the bejesus out of Mitch Keller and Quinn Priester, are now going to bring up
Quinn Priester is still being slow rolled?
Yeah, I mean they just signed Mitch Keller to a 5-year, $77 million deal. Congrats on that.
So don't put your money in the Paul Skeens basket, is what you're saying for this year.
But I don't think Wyatt Langford, I think, breaks camp with.
But you also got Evan Carter there. You got
So that's the thing is where does he
Texas Rangers, by the way.
Yes, where does he play? Because you already have a full outfield.
Yes, and a very good one.
You have Adolis Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
You're not taking him out.
No, hell no.
Leody Taveras was good enough defensively and was still a double-digit homer and steal guy last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Evan Garcia Carter can also play DH too, though. Adolis, if he has to. Garcia can play DH or be the DH.
I mean, true.
He's a little bit of a liability in the outfield.
One of these guys is going to be it.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is Wyatt Langford's probably not getting everyday playing time right from the jump. Does he break camp with the team? I think so. I think his bat is good enough that you have to
As
have that.
a from being drafted last year to be breaking with the team this year. I
Yes.
mean, he's an older player. I get that. He's already what?
And he
He's
was a
like
college
21 already.
bat
Yeah.
and could have
So
gone. I mean, he wasn't going to go over Skeens or Cruz, but he was in that camp in
so
terms of.
where would you pick him in your redraft leagues? Obviously, dynasty higher, but in a redraft league, where would
I
you
mean, if
take
you
him?
can still get him in dynasty league, I would leave the dynasty league. To be like, I would get a new league. Um,
No, I mean if you're drafting a dynasty league, that's fine.
I'd probably take him about the same place as like Churio, outfield 4,
Wow,
outfield 5.
interesting. I like that. Okay, here's a guy who's small sample size, but he's in spring training with this team. He's doing very well. And kind of a guy I've had my eye on is Jackson Merrill for the San Diego Padres. Shortstop. They're moving my boy Xavier Bogarts over to second. Obviously, Kim will be the shortstop there. Kim,
$280 million on a second baseman.
that's right. You know it. Jackson Merrill. By the way, Bogart's another guy where you could just look into his eyes. Jackson Merrill, thoughts on him? He's actually been pretty good so far in the first few games here for the Padres spring training.
I would. We're gonna need to see more because the first few games, like you're
He's
playing
young, right?
against,
He's young, right? He's still
he's
like
very
20.
young. You're also mainly playing against guys who are double A guys for most of the pitchers, right? Like there are
Yeah.
your starters get 1 or 2 innings, right? But you're getting 1 at bat a game against that guy, maybe, unless you're batting 7th, you
You're
know,
in spring
and you may
training,
miss the
you're
start.
getting an at bat against a different pitcher every time you come up to bat.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
So
Which is actually difficult, by the way. More difficult than an
yeah.
actual game.
That's why bullpen games have been so effective because you're changing the look and the
Correct.
sequencing and the stuff
Every at bat. Yeah.
every at bat. I don't think Jackson Merrill comes up.
This year. Yeah.
Maybe in
Do you
September.
agree with the talent though? Do you think what
Oh
they're saying
yeah,
about him is that he's going to be uh, Fernando Tatis's kind
that's
of?
that's awfully. I mean, I have him ranked as the 21st overall prospect right now.
Okay.
But that's number
I
2.
don't think the power. I mean, obviously,
That's
he just
number
hit a
1
home
in my.
run. He just nailed a home run yesterday. Which, by the way, shout out to Blake Snell, who, when the Padres showed that home run highlight, tweeted the highlight because I guess I don't know, stupid Blake Snell, messing with my heart. But he's not going to have that power. I think 30 home runs will be a stretch for him. He's going to have some speed. He's going to be kind of like, I think like a 20, maybe a 70 RBI, 15, 20 stolen bases at most, and maybe like a 270 average kind of guy, which is solid in fantasy
Yeah,
baseball.
I think he's at best prime Trey Turner.
Okay, well, that's pretty damn good.
Is it though? Like the stat line you just put out is what Trey Turner does.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, that's good.
30
Yeah,
steals.
not to say
Well,
30. I said about 20 to
Trey
25.
Turner's not been a 30-30 guy. He's never hit 30 homers in a year.
Yeah, that's true. And yet he was being
Been like
taken like number 2
25.
overall last year in fantasy drafts.
Well, yeah, that's because everybody, including myself, thought that going back to Kevin Long and a
Yeah.
pretty good hitters park and whatever, and Phillies fans should have given him a standing ovation sooner than they did. His stat line would have been better. But no, I think Jackson Merrill could be a 25-25 guy.
Love it. Hell yeah. Let's go Padres, baby.
He's not coming up this year though. Like,
Okay. I'm with you.
or at least not until like I don't know, maybe August.
I need to talk about another Padre real quick before we
Are we going Ethan Salas here or what?
yes.
He's not
The
coming
dude,
up. I'm sorry.
no, is not going to be the
he's
youngest player
17.
ever to play a Major League Baseball game in the history of Major League Baseball. Do you see what he's doing?
The man is 17. He's not even a man. Can't even
He's not
call
even
him
a man. He's 17 years old and he's already in Double A.
Is 17 years old.
He's
Is he
he's
outstanding?
cracking.
Yes. He is a
Is he going to be the best
remarkable-
catcher of all time? Is what people are already saying.
No, sorry. Is he good? Yes.
Will he be better than Adley Rutschman?
Mm,
You want to
I
say yes? I know
I
you
don't
want to say
know.
yes.
Right
You can
now, I
say it.
don't know.
He's 17 and he's in double A. It's crazy. That's
I
already
mean,
crazy in its own right? That's already insane.
I mean
And he
that's
was at 16, he was a double A. Now he's
yeah.
actually 17.
I mean, it's bonkers that he's already up this high at 17 years old.
And performing.
Correct. Is he better than a generational talent at catcher like Adley? It's a little early for that. I'm not saying he's terrible. All I'm saying is, can we completely believe that he's a generational catching talent? We'll see.
Apparently, he has the frame and he has everything too on the defensive side of the catcher's ball that's absolutely blowing the Padres coaches' minds. So, I mean, I hate catchers. I wish he would just become a DH or move to first base. We could use a first baseman. Um,
I
who's
mean,
our first baseman? Cronenworth right now? Jesus Christ.
you could, but I don't know if you're gonna move
Uh,
Salas from behind the plate.
Eventually, you would have to, but that's down the road. But right now, I'm really impressed with what I see. Let's move away from the Padres. No one wants to hear about my San Diego sports. Blah. Blah. We're talking about somebody from your team, Mr. Matt Selz, is Dylan Cruz. Of all the lists I've looked at, and I've looked at a lot, you have them the highest of anyone I've seen on any prospect list. You have
Might
him
be a
number
little,
4.
homer bias.
Are you a little biased? Hype
Little.
me up right now. I want you to hype me up on the Washington Nationals outfielder Dylan Cruz and why you think he could be an well, is he coming up this year? He probably will, right?
There's 2 coming up this year.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
James Wood comes up too.
James Wood. You're welcome, by the way. Speaking of the Padres, see the
What do
perfect.
you mean we're welcome? We gave you a generational talent.
And then we gave him Yankees for a bunch of pitchers. Woo!
We gave you Ted Williams. So
Yeah, for a year and a half.
that's not our fault. We gave him to you for 2
I
and a half.
get it.
It's not our fault you can't keep him for the.
You got CJ Abrams too. Okay.
I mean, that guy. I mean, as long as he.
I was
doesn't-
high on James Wood when he was with the Padres. I'm sad about that, but we're talking about Dylan Cruz first.
Yes. Yes, I think Dylan Cruz comes up about midseason.
Is he worth picking up in your redraft leagues? Late flyer.
I would say a late
Hold
flyer.
on to?
Yeah.
What kind of player is Dylan Cruz? Comp him. I loved Dylan Cruz in college. Loved it.
Dylan Cruz is Bryce Harper with a better hit tool.
That's a pretty damn high comp. You're like ESPN right now calling Caleb Williams Aaron Rodgers.
No, I think Caleb Williams is a bust, to be honest.
Dude,
I think
go
he has-
look at the football comps for ESPN on these quarterbacks. Literally, they said Caleb Williams, Aaron Rodgers, right? May is Justin Herbert, and Jaden Daniels is Lamar Jackson. Neither one of those players were the first quarterback taken in their own drafts, and only one of them
Drake May
was in a top 10.
Drake May isn't accurate enough to be mentioned anywhere in the same paragraph, let alone same sentence.
No,
as Justin
ESPN is high.
Well,
high.
they got to pump quarterbacks because the atrocious quarterback play in the NFL was bad for the product last year.
Back to Dylan Cruz.
I wanted Dylan Cruz over Skeens in the draft.
Really? Well, yeah, Skeens, I mean, pitchers, man, how many pitchers that have been drafted top 5 overall have actually worked out? It's very 50-50 at best, really.
I mean, here's the thing. In the history of baseball, there are 3, maybe 4 number 1 overall picks that are in the Hall of Fame.
Also that. They've been getting better lately. I think that the number 1 picks have been getting better lately. We have better film. These games in college are being filmed better. They're on national television now. You can watch them on ESPN Plus. There's just more ways to look at these players that there was before, especially in baseball, because there's so many games all the time. right? In football, it's easier. You only have so many games, and they're all nationally televised. In baseball, there's thousands of games. They're not.
The other thing with baseball though that helps is that you're not running different systems between each college, right?
True. Yeah.
Like Ohio State and Alabama both run quote unquote pro style offenses, except Ohio State leads the world in screen passes and Alabama never runs,
A screen ever in the history of screens.
right?
Yeah.
Like baseball, it's stand on a mound that's basically the same height everywhere, that's the same distance from home plate, and throw your stuff and see what happens when the
Yeah.
guy swings at it. No, I think that Dylan Cruz is Bryce Harper with a better hit tool.
Well, I like that comp. Here, we're gonna go in another direction now before we leave. So now I want to know all the number one picks dating back and what's hit, what's not. And this is how the game, the way we looked at it, analytics, by the way, as well, the analytics tools, to be able to see the way that they throw pitches just from a screen on your computer, which we didn't have back in the day. What year do you want to start? Yeah, these are bad, dude. These are really bad.
A lot of them are terrible.
Let's start in 2000.
Okay,
Adrian Gonzalez.
that's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Good start. Had a really good career. Got paid.
Not Hall of Famer good, but pretty good.
2001. Joe Mauer.
Hall of Famer. I think he's the fourth.
Okay. Now we're going to go down a little wormhole here. 2002. God damn it. A pitcher, Brian Bullington, with a career WAR of minus 0.2.
He was bad. He was not good.
Delman Young in 2003. Not a first round pick, but an average good baseball
He was
player.
okay for about 7 minutes.
Shout out to my Padres for 2004. Matt Bush, baby.
Yeah, he was great when he wasn't like killing people.
It's also that. 2005, Justin Upton. Not a whole good player.
No.
Career WAR of 32.3, though.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll take
good.
it.
Better than his brother.
Not a bust. Not a bust. Not a bust.
Certainly better than his brother.
Yeah. Beanpole Upton. 2006, Luke Hochevar. For the Royals, a pitcher. 3.7 career WAR.
Nope. He's not been good.
That's a bust. 2007, David Price, who ended up becoming their closer to a World Series run and then had some good years. Career WAR of 40.3. A pitcher, man. A lot of pitchers go take in the first round, which is crazy.
Yeah,
but is he? If you look at it, if you look at his career back over again, is he a first overall pick? Probably not.
I don't remember who else was in that draft, but
well,
I mean, Mike Trout went 26th overall in his draft.
2008, Tim Beckham for the Rays.
Yeah, that was terrible. I remember that
terrible.
was in my.
Here we go. 2009, Steven Strasburg, who at the time was a hit, and then the injuries kind of ruined his career.
I mean, the injuries were not great, obviously.
We're hitting about 50-50 here. Bryce Harper, 2010.
Yes.
Yeah. Garrett Cole hit 2011. Now we're hitting 2012, Carlos Correa.
Pretty good.
I'd say a hit. 2013, not a hit. Mark Apple. Ooh.
Oh, Mark Appel. Yeah, he turned down the pick and went back to Stanford.
His career WAR 0.3. Wait, dude, the Astros went on a run here, a first-round pick. Holy crap. Carlos Correa hit. Then they went Mark Appel, and then they went Brady Aiken in 2014, who has a career WAR of not anything.
Yeah, he didn't make the major.
Wow. Oh, and then you got the Dansby Swanson there for the D-backs. Oh, then you got Mickey Moniak. Oh,
Mickey Moniak, yeah, okay, but he had a pretty good season last year with the Angels. I think he's going to have a good year again this year.
Career WAR of 0.6. Then
the
Twins went
the Dansby Swanson year. You saw 3 shortstops go 1, 2, 3.
That was crazy that year. Yeah,
because you had Bregman.
Yeah,
was after him. And
he got moved to third, but yeah.
Trying to remember who the third one was.
Oh, I gotta look that up now. You gotta drive me crazy with that shit. What year was that? The Carlos Correa year?
No, the Dansby.
Oh. Yeah, Swanson. Let's see here. Dansby Swanson. Now we're just going down a rabbit hole here. 2015.
Watson came out of Vanderbilt. Bregman came out of LSU. And there was another college shortstop who went.
No, it wasn't Manny. No, Manny Machado.
No, he was already in the majors at that point.
Brendan Rodgers.
There you go.
By the way, Kyle Tucker's dude. The Arizona, not Arizona, sorry, Houston Astros 2 overall Bregman, number 5 overall Kyle Tucker in that draft. That's a
They had a very good.
They definitely made up for it after their their stinkers with Mark Appel and Brady Aiken. So don't draft pitchers with the first overall pick. Then we move
I don't
on.
think they actually signed Brady Aiken, which is why they got the makeup pick the following year.
That makes sense. Yeah, he did not sign. He ended up being Tommy John surgery.
Yeah,
he hasn't pitched. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. He's out of San Diego, too. Sad.
Yep.
He drew comparisons to Clayton Kershaw and Andy Pettit. Woo.
Okay, but those are two vastly different pit. Like, that's one of those is a Hall of Famer, the other one is not.
2017 for the Twins shortstop Royce Lewis. Oh.
Well, he hasn't done enough to really judge that yet.
Yeah, but that was 2017, and we are now in 2024, my friend.
Yeah, but okay. So first of all, he was drafted out of high school.
Okay, so he was
Those
18.
guys usually take like 3 years to come up, right?
Cool. It's been 7.
Okay. Lost the 2020 season to COVID.
Mm-hmm.
He's had injuries.
Okay, what are we just doing? College football now?
And the Twins kind of buried him because they've had dudes at shortstop.
Correa now too, yeah. We'll see. Okay, I'm not saying he's a bust yet, but he's
buried by another number 1 overall pick.
Yeah. Casey Mize?
Yeah, Casey Mize is not done for Detroit.
He's had a couple Tommy John surgeries, hasn't he?
Yeah. And he plays for Detroit.
Yeah. And then Adley Rutschman hit.
Yes.
Spencer Torkelson. Kind of up in the air. Solid year. Solid year. Henry Davis, which I didn't agree with that pick in the 2021 draft.
But he looks pretty decent for the Pirates right now.
Yeah. And then Jackson Holiday, of course, and then Paul Skeens with this pick. So I say it's about, you're right, we're about 50-50.
It's getting better.
It's getting better. It's probably better odds than number 1 overall quarterbacks in the NFL draft.
Probably.
Yeah.
Like how many? I tried to figure this out one day. Is how many number 1 overall quarterbacks are in the Hall of Fame?
Even number 1 quarterbacks. If you go back at the NFL draft and look at just the first quarterback taken, from any team in the draft, compared to the second or third quarterback taken, 75% of the times the second or third quarterbacks are better. It's insane. Mitchell Trubisky was drafted before Josh Allen. Like it's like it's stuff like
before Mahomes.
Yes, correct.
They traded
that was the Bears. If you haven't read the Heavy T's inept franchise number 1, the Bears. By the way, you would love this one. We just released a new one today, Matt Selz, the Miami Marlins, where Heavy T goes off on the ownership or all 5 of them.
Yeah, they're not great.
So check out the article, MondayNightRants.com. Heavy T's inept franchise series. The Miami Marlins got released. We talked about the Bears. But yeah, like Alex Smith, and then Aaron Rodgers was drafted, and 23 picks later. 2 of them was drafted over Herbert.
Alex Smith wasn't terrible, but yes, Aaron Rodgers is significantly better.
Yeah, like in the Lamar Jackson draft, where Sam Darnold was taking over him, where it's just Daniel Jones, like all these players that, and you look at the quarterbacks taken after him and go, okay. So baseball kind of has a better thing there with the pitchers. I would agree. All right, well, let's call it a merry Monday night here. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, I say we'll be done by 7, but we go an extra 25 minutes just because we go rambling, and for some reason, people are still watching. So
Yeah, by the way, my bench in this mock draft is Jamison Tyone, Will Benson, and Chris Taylor.
I like it. We'll see if I ever get to round 3 of my Great Fantasy Baseball Invitational
Yeah,
draft.
there's a
Maybe we will tomorrow. I'm hoping to get to round 3 tomorrow, baby.
There's a legitimate shot you don't finish that draft before the season starts with the Korea
Jesus
series.
Christ, this is so slow. Oh, we are in round 3. We made it to the
series. The Korea series is 24 days away.
Yeah, there's a good chance we don't.
It's like March 20th, I think.
Here's what I don't understand. Okay, yeah, we are rolling through round 3 now. It's going to actually come to me hopefully tonight. So, but the guy who has the wraparound, he picked his first pick super quick and then waited like an hour to pick his next pick. If you know you have the wraparound, you make both your picks at the same time, people.
I mean, true.
Well, join us next week on My Night Rants, where we'll be in round 10 of the Great Fantasy Baseball Invitational. Oh, geez. All right, Matt Selz. Great race yesterday. A lot of good stuff to come this season for the NASCAR on FantasyAlarm.com. Tell everyone where to find all your good work.
So you can find me on the Twitter machine, or the X machine as it's now known, at the Salesman, TheSelzman, right there on your screen. My NASCAR stuff is over at fantasyalarm.com. We've got a podcast every week. We got the Grover's Grill that goes up on YouTube. We've got Playbook, where I give you basically the strategy, some pretty handy data for the race, top plays, the core guys that I'm building around. There's betting pieces up there. Join our Discord, because
winning betting pieces, baby. Don't be modest. You crushed.
I did.
Put it out there. Tell the world, Matt Selz.
I hit 35 to 1 for the first time this year.
35 to 1, people. That could buy you a night out of dinner.
I mean, one of our subscribers put $10 on it, and he won 450 because he got him at 45 to 1.
You can skip McDonald's and take the family out to Applebee's for a night.
Because that's living fancy, like, right?
That's Nebraska, Fresno, California, dude. Applebee's is shit, dude.
I mean, Dollaritas are pretty fun. Takes a lot of them to get smashed on Dollaritas, though.
Dude, there's no alcohol in those things. All sugar.
No, that's
all
why
sugar and water.
Okay,
there's your alcohol.
Exactly.
Good luck with that.
So yeah, I'm on Fantasy Alarm. You can join our Discord. There's all sorts of race day updates.
Hell yeah, I'm in there too, talking smack
and chatter and whatnot. All sorts of fun stuff. Vegas this week.
Fun stuff.
Vegas, then Phoenix, and then what? Is it Coda?
Yep. Then we got street racing, baby. Not street racing, but road course racing.
Most diabolical turn 1 on any track ever.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. Check it out, fantasyalarm.com at the Salesman. Also on Facebook and on Instagram. And are you on TikTok? I just started my TikTok, man. You got to get in on the TikTok. I'll probably cut something up from us talking that will be on there. So
I don't have enough time to go join another social thing. I mean, I'm on Threads technically.
That's just Instagram.
No, it's like Twitter without the riffraff.
For now, my friend. For now.
We'll see. Everything's going to get taken over.
All right. Well, I'm going to send us away. You stay with me till we say goodbye, all right? Let's do this. Sure. Real quick, if you haven't already, go to MondayNightRants.com for my picks. Send us your questions, catch up on old shows, or just say, hey. Also, check out Heavy T's Inept Franchise Series. The Miami Marlins released today, and Matt Selz and myself doing Grover's Grill. Those videos are on there as well. FantasyAlarm.com for all Matt Selz stuff. You can catch him there. Catch him on at the Salesman. From myself, from Vacationing Heavy T, happy birthday, Thomas Stevens, from Matt Selz and everyone over at the Better Sports Network, at Better Network, all your favorite social media platform. We say have a merry Monday. Have a merry week. We'll see you next week for more fun, more laughs, and as always, shout out my boy, Taj McGowan.